Good morning, everybody. Oh, somebody not happy this morning. A pretty substantial move lower. Not that last week didn't suggest it, but over the weekend, you never know what's going to happen. And so there's nothing to stop it from going down. It could be a significant move lower. And so this is what we refer to as a void, and where there's no support. And you can see, momentum move up. Well, I don't know if I have this 180, how to charts. Yes, charts. Getting ahead of myself here. Okay, here we go. All right. So S&P futures, current contract. Um, Scrunch this up a little bit. And so there was kind of like the last stopping point right there. There was a pivot there, which it cut through. And so this kind of looks like a measured move down to come down here. There's nothing to stop it from going down. Doesn't mean it'll get, there would be like a tremendous down day. Well, this was a tremendous down day initiated by the Fed comments, but this seems to be a continuation of it. We talked about, a week ago, this move down, how 50% of that, usually it stays in the bottom half, but this advanced. And one of the tells was like IWM, the value index, and so many of the others that were extended lower couldn't lift up as this did. And so now we see this is following through and suggests it's going to continue to go down. Smaller time frame, momentum move. Like, just as a reference, this type of you could call that a W type of a bottom there on the 5-minute. But historically, while it certainly could pop up, they have a higher tendency not to work when it's initiated from the first move down like that. It's a general concept, to keep in mind, probability trades, retest of a pivot, buyers are going to be there. And so we look at that, and you look to the left there on the 60-minute chart, and it's right aligned with that pivot over there from, I guess, the 23rd or so. Yeah, you can see it there on the 23rd. That's why it's stabilized there. And now it's falling into what we call a void. And so should this continue to go down, which would be surprising, there's some number coming out at 9:45. So I'm just, as I'm thinking here, Chicago PMI, just think about that. The market's going to open 15 minutes later. This may continue down at 9:45. Maybe that number flips things and it hasn't reached support. Now, I don't put a lot of weight on this, what we call minor support, but you got to look at it in consideration. I'm looking to that and looking at my daily chart, and I see these overlapping opens and closes there, which often will tend to be a reference point. So you got the void. Um, and you're looking at another time frame and saying, this cluster of opens and closes. And of course, you should know what that is. Candlestick charts, opens and closes overlapping each other. That could be a reference point, which is coming down to. So S&Ps, that would be a reference point. We'll see what happens there. Keep in mind 9:45. Qs, NASDAQ futures, almost down to the 50. There's nothing here. Same kind of pattern. And you can see, right, what the hell is that? Trying to put things together since I'm not supposed to do that. Well, why is it? Anyway, what I wanted to do was, it's funny stuff these things draws, a head and shoulders kind of a pattern there, and breaking down. And if you go at kind of like look at this fancy shit this thing does. I didn't even know. Anyway, measured move lower down to that major support point on the daily chart. We'll see what happens. But 50 MA, It's the futures contract, obviously. It's not like the Qs, which you definitely want to reference as far as a moving average, which is subjective, and far from the 50 on the Qs. So gapping down, for whatever reason, beginning to stabilize there. Looking at the 60-minute chart, it's in the area of that pivot. Let me just put it on 65 because that's what I've been looking at recently. The same. So it cut through that pivot. So a little bit of a slowing momentum, not a significant reference of any kind of a significant turn as of yet. Obviously, a relatively large gap down in the middle of kind of nowhere, man, nowhere's land. So negative there too. Let's go to Russell Futures. Looks like it's got a test at pivot low. And you can see it's holding this area for the moment. So factory work, look to the left. Is there a pivot on a 65-minute or a daily, some significant time frame? And somewhat, we'll see if it begins to hold. So as we look at different market indices or futures contracts, we see if one is reaching support or resistance and begin to stabilize, go to smaller time frames. Nothing of significance on the 5-minute, no base, no W bottom, no nothing. If this breaks lower, there's nothing to stop it from going down. Just want to look at IWM. As we look at gaps, and you see that's Friday's low there where it's gapping down to. And you can see the support area there. So this went down a whole lot more. So these markets or sectors or stocks that led the way down and went to an extreme have a higher probability of not going down as much, where the others play catch up. So when we talk about catch up trades, when we do empty lives or in the green room, generally talk about from the point of view of stocks going up, not going down, but it works both ways. Whereas this led the way down, and now we've got the S&Ps and Qs playing catch up on the way down. This doesn't go down as much. And so if we were to get a tradable low, this is likely to reverse. And so maybe something like this forms a W bottom where we get some kind of a retracement, SPYV, value led the way down. It's gapping down near the low. So this has, the characteristics of what could form a W bottom, which would probably take a few days, which puts us into 2025. But a climactic move, a wide range bar ending. It's in the area of the 200. We look to the left. There's a pivot over there. You can see the weekly chart. Didn't mean it would be the bottom, but it could be a tradable event where if we get a retest and a reversal down here for a short-term long, and of course, there'd be millions of, I don't know, millions, but many, many put spreads candidates for that. And then we look at what showed relative strength possibly. So this goes down and tests the low. Maybe we find certain stocks that were going sideways that would show relative strength, and all of that is in the future. Right now, we're just dealing with this pre-market downdraft and see what's going to happen here today. I noticed SMHs were holding up, as much as I could tell. Well, they were up, now they're down here. And so that's in the middle of nowhere. It's just a giant mess, but somewhere to look to see if it can hold up for a bit. Regional banks, again, led the way down, gapping down near support. So again, the theme of what led the way down, do we get a retest and a reversal? Do they begin to show some relative strength? A lot of times these things are going to break the low. Not always, but many times they'll break the low and then flip. And that would be a tell, would be a great sign for short-term longs and put spreads if it was, to break the low here. And then if we would get a wide range bar up, a big bottoming tail bar, some range expansion type of a bar. Um, Oil's up a little bit. See, crude oil's up here a little bit. So kind of nothingness, just a giant mess, but clearly some relative strength. Probably the market doesn't like it, even though it's not breaking out. It's a threat for this, inflation, which is, something that's not that we obviously see it, but the fact that these interest rates went up like they did, after initially breaking down in such a strong move, that's been the the conversation as, tariffs, tax cuts, no tax on tips, all of this, inflation concerns, and all of these things are going to shake out. We need more information, but clearly interest rates going up like they have. But just like always, look to the left. They're up at resistance. So while they're backing off here a little bit today, we got the market in a downdraft. So this would initially could have been a positive, but the market, whatever. Participants just don't give a darn right now. Whether that's just end of the year, let's protect our profits. I don't know. We'll just have to see. This is interesting that this 13-week continued to move lower. And so I mentioned in the weekend letter, the idea of, this inflation idea, the intermediate term interest rates, moving up, and what I just said, tariffs and blah, 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 blah. But the 13-week continues to move lower, which has been, just a indispensable piece of information as far as what the Fed is going to do. So what is this communicating to me? Well, it communicates to all of us a belief that the Fed could continue to cut interest rates regardless of what he said. It's an unknown, of course, but this is moving down. And so within those interest rates moving up, it could relate to, hey, the economy is going to slow down, and they'll need to cut interest rates for that reason. We'll see how this all unfolds. But I'm just sharing the things that the market is communicating right now. And so there's no clear evidence of this yet, but why is this moving down after his comments? So bit of a divergence between, what's coming out of his mouth and what the market thinks, and leads to some confusion, but clearly there's no confusion as to wanting to sell at this moment, and there's nothing to stop it from moving lower. All right. As we always look at other markets, and this led the way down. So that certainly looks like it needs to move lower before we get a high probability turn. Where's the volatility index this morning? Plenty of room to move up, and markets have the ones that, have room to move down, have room to move down. So as I look around, I don't see information to suggest that buyers are going to step up and come to the rescue in the short term. And remember that news that's coming at 9:45. How significant it is, I really don't know, but it's something. And then at 10 o'clock, there's pending home sales and 10:30 Dallas Fed manufacturing index. But so there's some news out there other than just looking to the left and the support that maybe why things stabilize. And transports led the way down. Could be another W type of a bottom scenario. Alex and Patrick mentioning to me about natural gas, which has been in the news lately. And wow, what a monster gap up. So this may be a theme for 2025. Natural gas. I mean, this has made attempts to turn around many, many times over the years. And so what is it? What is the ETF for natural gas? Let's see. UNG, thank you. UNG. And so same gap up, and you can see this downtrend that it's been in for years. It's been sideways all this year, and now clearing this consolidation. So obviously this is something that's in play and could continue into next year. NG. What is that symbol again? $F. $F. I don't. And so you can see the futures have been in an uptrend for a while, leading the way and taking out this pivot. So it's got a big void below, and I'm not suggesting anybody chase this. And you can see it's right up near this prior high pivot there. So that might get sold into. And let me just look. The dollar must be up since the euro's down a bit. Pound is down a little bit, but chopping sideways. Yeah, so looks like a little more negativity, and then we'll see where it goes from there. All yours, Dan.
Good morning. Yeah, it was interesting on Friday. I think in both our weekend videos and like with Alex and a bunch of others, we're like, I don't have a bias for this week based on Friday's close. Kind of trading range, and we're saying whichever way it kind of retraces into that trading range, we'll see. And then the slow holiday week here kind of throws things in a little unknown also. When I got up, I was looking at the futures as I always do when I turn on the TV, and they were just down marginal. Like the diamonds were down.
Dan, 1 second, because I forgot to show the chart of SPX, but this is moving around quite a bit. If you can get a put spread, you definitely want to be below 5,800. And I'm just looking at the quotes right here now. 59.85. Probably a no-brainer. It's under 6,000. Go ahead, Dan.
Yeah, so diamonds were down, 75. And then I went and got some coffee and I came back and they were down 300. I'm like, what just happened? So yeah, I don't know what the news was, but they all got weaker. So do what we do every day. But yeah, well, let's keep an eye on them. Yeah, that zero DTE put spread. Look at alarms first, as I always do. NUE, we have a put spread. I see a small gap down there. LUV, we're in trail mode, but with a profit. Let me just type right now the move stop 5-minute low on that. But I adjusted stops on a bunch of bearish trades. And look at this little fifey. There's so many stocks under $5, $10 that have just been ripping crazy. And I went through about like 50 of them last Thursday and Friday. And so Greg and I decided to make our next MT live on trading stocks under $10. And remember, we had this discussion Friday afternoon, and you all were telling me, well, not you all, some of you, they're like, oh, if there's resistance, sell it. I'm like, no, sell a third. I said, I think this thing's going to 240 because it's coming out of this big base. And so I sent out an alert saying, let's sell another third pre-market. Carvana, we have a call spread. I tightened the stop. AYI alarm went off. We are short stock. I tightened it to break even. IBM alarm. It's a short, it's on our short list. And NDM. I sent out an alarm saying kill this break even or small 1 to 2 to 3 penny profit. A breakout failure there. My low alarm went off. So just get one bullish trade out of our books. A WPC alarm, nice sell setup with a bearish weekly. Now there's a ton of sell setups, and I gave Greg like a dozen of them over the weekend, and I said, I mean, the problem I have with so many of these is they're buy setups on the weekly, and so that is like a dilemma that you can still trade, but not as big a target as if you had a bearish weekly. Now this one's in alignment, WPC. So daily, weekly, my low alarm went off. Well, I got Boeing in the other computer. Let me put this here, see where it opens, because that's a nice tier 1 setup. AXSM, bottom chart. It's a bio. But it has a big gap down. I don't know what the news is. FLS, we are short. And my low alarm went off, but yeah, I don't see any prints. What else? It's like all my alarms going off. So let's just look at miscellaneous stuff. Another junker. Now, see, this is a pattern that's in a nasty downtrend. So it would just be trading a bounce. That's not these home run things coming out of multi-month basis that I want to focus on like this. Still in a downtrend, but that's an igniting gap right there. Problem is the gap's too big. But I don't know what is going on, but I've been saying for a couple of weeks now, but there's so much junk flying. Yeah, USO, let's watch 30-minute high. It's gap breakout. Look, all 3 flat moving averages. So if I took the candles off of this, oh, done. I already did it, buddy. Yeah, we already sold a third pre-market. So we only have a third left. So if you took off these candles and then you just blindly told me, hey, Dan, this is gapping up, 1.2%, whatever it is. I would say buy a 5-minute high or buy a controlled pullback. Because all these flat MAs are telling me it's been consolidating for a long time. So, so what would be my target? Well, it's coming out of a base. There's always resistance, but which is bigger, support or resistance? So my target would be 78, 79 on this. CTM. Now see, this is what I'm talking about, that I wish we got on more of these. Look, this thing was in a coma, broke out, buy setup, boom. And it's a penny stock. So, there's a difference between a pump and dumper penny stock and just saying, hey, I got a compelling pattern on a stock under $10. I got a crazy volume, 45 million. But there's no way to play that now. I'm just showing you an example. This one's in a downtrend, but what the heck got this thing exploding today? I have no idea. But again, compare this one to that prior one that was coming out of a base with flat MAs. This has declining MAs, so it would be just a bounce. QSI, look at this rocket ship on Thursday. That was viable. I wouldn't have expected it to move that far, but it made the turn. 5-day turn on support. Downtrend, but igniting gap. Kit, blast off again. they're all over the place. TDC, I would like a 1, 2, 3, and then this would be a good short. And again, these holidays are messing me up. So if tomorrow's an inside day, we close at 1 p.m. A short for Thursday. Now, this is one I want to watch, SPAI, for one of these under $5. It made a beautiful turn. Look at the weekly. Look at the weekly bear sandwich buy setup. So this one, maybe, I know it's up a lot in the last 3 days, but that's a beautiful, I'm now, it's in the batter's box. So now I got to find my entry on the daily and then, give it a stop Thursday's low. UNG, yeah, that's a monster gap. Yeah, let's just talking about the fundamentals. Well, Ukraine not renewing. All right, bottoming pattern. Bottoming pattern. Just not sure of the target on this, but what if it goes to 260? A $2 stop, that'd be a 30% return. Boeing, Climo gapping down. I posted this as a call spread idea. The unfortunate, there's been a lot of airplane crashes lately. And Boeing was the manufacturer of that one. EWZ is Brazil. Climo stabilizing. Depending on how it closes, that could be a balanced trade. That's the bio getting down. Octos, I like. Because look, still in the downtrend, but it's an igniting gap. But it's a monster gap. So, maybe I got to watch it for a week. These were great examples. The QBTS and RIGT. Now they look like day trade shorts and call spreads. This would be a great one, gapping under this 15-minute bar. Would be a great $20 call spread. But these are the type of patterns that we're going to be looking for in that MT live. So stocks under $10. All right, yeah, this RIGT is great. Premium. All right, so I'm going to put this in a window and check out the juice. And WBA, another thing under $10, but I just don't like all these overlapping bars up here on the daily. But look at the weeklies, a bottoming pattern. This is what Greg always says, breakout patterns, treacherous and can slam back in your face. But now it's better because it made a new low and I have another potent turn. So there's nothing to do today, but if you like these type of bottoming patterns, it's time to start watching it. BUA, again, bottoming pattern got slammed, but I got an alarm up here. It might be bottoming. JHG alarm. All right, so this is an example like the many that I said sell setup on the daily, but they're buy setups on the weekly. But Greg, this is one you and I talked about. Eat, yeah, so that we were in this long breakout. I don't know if that's a real alarm or I always have early alarms. So I'll go through them all. All right, NUE, put spread. And we also made the comment that a lot of these Climos were not bouncing much last week. Which, obvious sign of weak. Look at XLB. That was a nice Climo, which never triggered though. So the trigger was over this big green bar. So I'm gonna cancel it now.
Excuse me, Dan, on this SPX, these numbers are, double check your own because these numbers are kind of crazy, I guess, with this kind of downdraft, but this premium at 57.95, below 5,800, which there's an unfilled gap on SPX there at around the gap fill is actually 57.82, let's call it 83. I'll double check your quotes. I can go down to 57.95.90 if it continues to drop. Actually,
Yeah, so that would equate to 580 for spiders. Let me check that in case you don't like shorting a big contract like me. So the 580s, the zero DTE right now is 28 by 29. It's amazing how liquid these spider options are. Tapestry, alarm. Our stop was 65.05. So I'll go ahead and close it out. Eat. One. Uh, yeah, that. Um, let's. God, I hate to stop out right here with this tail. Let's do half. Although it is a breakout failure. Market still looks lower, so I'll close it out. LUV. All right, we still have a small profit. All right, let's kill it. Let's close LUV and take the money.
anybody using TC 2000? These quotes look wrong to me. Not what my e-signal showing. Oh, they were stuck.
All right, WPC. All right, WPC is a go. Carvana low alarm. Actually, Sam was very bullish today based on his watch list. Carvana, nice. That looks good. Carvana 235. That's 580 puts on spiders now are up to 36 cents. 230. Carvana spreads got crazy.
That premium at 580, Dan?
Yeah, 38 cents. But you buy one further out of the money.
Why don't you sell them naked?
You could, it's just the difference of the buying power is all, so it's personal. All right, the spreads are nuts here. It's showing a negative number, which is impossible. You'd never get filled at a negative number. But it's just trying. Spiders. Yeah, so it's I think it's better just going as far out as you need to only pay a penny. So 580. 580 is 30 cents now. So it was 38. Now it's back to diamonds and IWM still weaker. This one I actually like a tad better, Greg. Let's see if there's any juice. Under 510. Let's see a couple of finds here trying to bounce. There's still not one green Dow 30.
The 580 is near the pivot low. That's why I mentioned selling it naked.
Wow, but so is Q's. So let me see under 5. Yeah, so the same 30 cents, Greg. The same 30 cents, you can do the Q's 506. I mean, I know I'm a little bit of apples and oranges, but you can get farther away. And if you like this pattern, there's no turn yet though. I was just noticing some of the fangs bouncing. BNAI. Yeah, that one's too friggin' whippy to me, but yeah, I don't know what it is, Greg, but yeah, same type of junk. Look at that's a SPAC, when they go sideways like that. But they're sure coming for the junk. Wow, Greg, our Fifey we're in.
John said it's halted.
I know, so we gotta watch it. I know, but do you remember we were talking about the target on Friday? We had that discussion. 25 million shares already? Is that right?
What is the time clock as far as a halt?
Good
Unless there's
question.
news pending, I think
Yeah,
it's on a timer, isn't it?
right. Yeah, yes, is the answer. Right. I was going to say it depends on the reason. If it's just a regular price move on with no news, uh, then yeah, it's either 10 or 15 minutes, something like that. Yeah, this looks good, Alex, because you got the weekly in alignment. I like it. You want to give it, Craig? I like it.
1 second.
Yeah, I like it. Because daily, weekly. All right, I see it moving. Let's get ready to sell it. Um, I know this is very arbitrary. Let's move the stop to 288. Very arbitrary. It's just, let's see if it can hold here and then we'll sell one more blast off. And if not, I got a line in the sand. That's at least my rationale. All right, we're out. We're out. Taken. Thanks, Don. It's one of these, one of these junk stocks bottoming pattern that I thought I had the potential, and that's why we're going to do this MT live. And you remember our entry on that? The entry was amazing too. Well, I liked it for a bottoming pattern, right? It just the odds were there with junk flying. 30. $138 return. Yeah, we're short WPC too. Yep, triggered already. Yep, let me set new alarms on these things. New and cap puts through.
I'm back. Sorry about that.
Video
That
new.
stock whipped all the way back down, John. And
Oh,
nobody could have got filled on that without giant slippage.
on what, 5 feet?
Yep.
No, no, we got out, I moved the stop to 288. And it went, above it. So no, they're fine on the exit. All right, cues, let me look again.
Mags taking out the high of the day.
Oh,
Mags.
mags, yeah, that's why I'm looking at cues, and the video is blasting through Friday's resistance. Okay, so now on 507, I can only get 30 cents. Or, you could do your thing of buying a call. It's not I don't know, it's not a good enough pattern for me.
The puts were the no-brainer.
Right, I agree. All right, I'm gonna do that for my dad. So, Dollar Tree. I would like it to go sideways a little more, but quite the relative strength.
Set if you set an alert on the cues just above the 50 MA. We'll see if they get there, but they're not bouncing much. Here's an example. If you look at, like, if you were going to trade this, you'd day trade T triple Q, which is on the 50 MA, but the 50 MA on the Qs are down below. Point is, moving averages on a leveraged instrument are not that reliable.
$182 for $1. There's no juice now. Let's cancel Boeing. IBM. Yeah, there with that gap and go, there's no way. Yeah, Greg, I hit this one. I'm bought in our weekend letter for another one of these low volume blast offs, but I gave. Oh no, I said over 111 closing price by the stock. So the question is now, I think we got to hold off. I don't like the gap and crap.
I think that's pretty clear.
But yeah, that was in my garbage department trading. Here's another one, fun. We were going to short the $5 puts, but it did not trade yet because I said it has to trade above yesterday's closing price. Bark, another junker, has to get over Thursday's high. And some of these others These others just aren't going to trigger. APP, I still like APP. Has to get above all those highs. Docs will cancel. Really? Is still okay. CME, we were going to do a put spread. That's still okay if it triggers. Whirlpool, I'm going to cancel. That was a put spread over the highs. And it's right here on this support though. Your entry was really Friday under Thursday's low. And then it had a bearish pre-market, Steve. And then a gap under that. I think you could have just been more aggressive on your entry than doing it right here. But it looks lower. Daily, weekly, monthly. I agree. 221.41. All right, so IBM, I gave both a call spread and shorting half lot of stock. It gapped under the entry by $1. Oh yeah, I forgot to look at a call spread on that too. But yeah, let me look. Hold on. And then has to check his cousin too. Yeah, this one. Oh, why isn't it in the weekly here? I gave it as a call spread, but I don't see it in the pending. Ah, no, I'm mixing it up with IONQ. IONQ, I gave a call spread. 52.57. Yep, no juice. All right, so routine. Yeah, I said yeah, pre-market. I said that I like that bearish pre-market consolidation. Yep. Yeah, let's check. But yeah, short the low. I think target, for day trade, $13 maybe even. I can't get a good midpoint for a call spread. All right, rig T. And then what's his cousin's name? Right here, QBTS. Yeah, all these things get pretty climactic. The greed, people thinking they won't go down. It's the new, NVIDIA or whatever analogy you want. And there's no premium either on that. So yeah, just shorting patterns. But yeah, the other one's a superior short rig T over this one. The A/B test. Superior.
Russell is down near, Russell futures are down near the prior pivot low. See if they begin to stabilize. Semiconductors are showing a little relative strength.
Because in the video. Actually a little kind of pseudo buy setup there after that deep retracement.
Wouldn't buy it.
No. I was in my head, I'm thinking tomorrow over today's high, put spread idea. But no, I'm gun shy of even put spreads right now until we see things, simmer down for the bulls. Hey, what? Let's cover third right now. Opens now. Yeah, see, it's holding away. Got long calls. That's another bottoming pattern. says shipping. They set an alarm at 12:06. Bat 2-1 has been giving me a lot of these junkers. No, I don't like that at all. He's saying Lumina is in a buy area. That's a falling rock. Not me, sir. That looks ugly. Not my style at all. CNC, our stop is still down here. But little breakout failure, EMBC. Yeah, this is one we talked about on Friday. Should we kill it, break even? So that's still fine. GCOS, our stop. Transports, LUV. Oh, LUV, I said kill it earlier. Let me close it. Not clue, we got a covered call. Postage. Stop 61.34. Warby, we got a put spring. XLE. Our Gill is nice. WPC. All right, that's everything. Tesla was call spread. We did not get filled. Netflix new low. Topping pattern. Wow, this mistext. Remember I mentioned on Friday this could be a breakdown? I forget the target I gave. I might have said something like 45. Forget. That's a bearish rollover. Not crazy about that one. It's too close to that prior low. Should be trying to make the turn here. Diamonds IWM the weakest. I like the Qs the best for a naked quote. NVIDIA is the only green Dow 30 stock, and that's up just under $1. But definitely relative strength.
Thought it was gonna bottom here, but maybe it's gonna make a retest.
Amen, it will.
If Mags doesn't go back down to the low, let's buy it above 55.20. Let's see if it holds the open here, which is like 54.98.